Cabin 8574 on the Harmony of the Seas has a 1-star rating for a reason, and it's not what you think. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact cabin numbers that could ruin your $5,000 cruise vacation, and trust me, some of these are being sold right now on major cruise websites. Welcome back to the channel. If you're planning a cruise, you're probably browsing cabin categories right now, comparing prices and trying to find the best deal. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Not all cabins are created equal, and some are absolute nightmares. Today, we're counting down the 10 types of cruise ship cabins you should never book. I'll give you the exact reasons why, the specific locations to avoid, and what experienced cruisers know that first-timers don't. Stick around until number 1. It's the most common mistake that could cost you your entire vacation. And hey, if you find this helpful, smash that subscribe button so you never miss our cruise secrets. Let's dive in. Number 10. Cabins directly below the pool deck. Let's start with a subtle nightmare. Any cabin located directly underneath the main pool deck or Lido deck is a recipe for sleepless nights. We're talking about the constant sound of deck chairs scraping across the floor above you starting at 6 a.m., sometimes even earlier when crew sets up for the day. But it gets worse. Pool decks host late-night parties, live music, and deck games that go until midnight or later. You'll hear every footstep, every chair, every dropped drink glass. On Royal Caribbean ships Oasis class, avoid cabins on Deck 8 directly under the sports court. The basketball games alone will drive you insane. The noise is relentless, and no amount of earplugs will save you. Number 9. Cabins near the anchor. Here's one most people don't think about. Cabins located at the very front of the ship, near the anchor. When the ship drops anchor at port, which happens at every stop, you'll hear a deafening mechanical grinding and chain rattling that sounds like the ship is tearing apart. This typically happens early in the morning, around 5 or 6 a.m., right when you're trying to sleep in. On Norwegian ships, avoid cabins numbered in the low 100s on forward decks. The anchor noise can last 10 to 15 minutes and will jolt you awake every single port day. Unless you enjoy industrial wake-up calls, skip these cabins entirely. Number 8. Obstructed ocean view cabins. This one is sneaky. You pay extra for an ocean view cabin, excited to wake up to beautiful sea views, but when you arrive, all you see is a giant orange lifeboat blocking your entire window. These are called obstructed view cabins, and cruise lines don't always make it obvious during booking. Cabins on decks 1, 2, and 3 are most likely to have this problem. On Carnival ships, any cabin with a lifeboat directly outside will have this issue. Some cruise lines mark these as obstructed, but on third-party booking sites, this detail gets buried in fine print. You're essentially paying for a window that shows you industrial equipment instead of the ocean. Total waste of money. Number 7. Cabins below the theater or main dining room. If you value sleep, avoid any cabin located directly below the main theater or dining room. The theater hosts shows until 10 or 11 p.m. every night, and you'll hear every dance number, every bass drop, every round of applause through your ceiling. The main dining room is just as bad. Imagine the sound of hundreds of chairs scraping, dishes clattering, and silverware dropping during breakfast, lunch, and dinner service. On Princess cruises, cabins on Deck 5 below the main dining room are particularly problematic. One cruiser reported feeling like they were sleeping inside a restaurant kitchen. Not relaxing, not worth it. Number 6. Cabins above crew areas. Here's the flip side. Cabins located directly above crew quarters or crew recreational areas. Crew members work all clocks and shifts, which means people are coming and going at all hours, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., whenever. You'll hear doors slamming, conversations in hallways, and foot traffic at the strangest times. On most ships, Deck 2 and Deck 3 cabins towards the front or back are most likely to be above crew areas. Disney Cruise Line ships are notorious for this on lower decks. The crew deserves their space, but you don't deserve to listen to it 24/7. Number 5. Cabins near the elevator banks. Elevators are the highways of cruise ships, and cabins located right next to elevator banks are surrounded by constant noise. You'll hear elevator dings every few minutes, conversations as people wait, and luggage wheels rolling past your door at all hours. This is especially bad on embarkation and debarkation days when traffic is non-stop. On Royal Caribbean and Carnival ships, cabins ending in numbers like 00, 02, or 50 are typically near elevators. The convenience isn't worth the noise pollution. You might save 30 seconds walking to the elevator, but you'll lose hours of sleep. Number 4. Connecting cabins, if you're not connecting. Connecting cabins are designed for families traveling together with a door between two rooms. But if you book one of these as a solo traveler or couple, you're gambling with noise. The door between cabins is not soundproof. If the cabin next door has a family with young children, you'll hear everything. Crying, cartoons, arguments, early morning chaos. On Norwegian and Carnival ships, connecting cabins are common in family-friendly areas. Unless you're actually connecting with someone you know, avoid these cabins. The privacy risk is too high. Number 3. Guarantee cabins, the gamble. Guarantee cabins sound like a great deal. You get a discounted rate, and the cruise line assigns you any available cabin in that category. But here's the catch. You have zero control over location. You could end up in any of the nightmare cabins we've already mentioned. The cruise line isn't going to give you their best cabin at a discount. They're filling the leftovers. You might get lucky, but you're more likely to end up above the nightclub or next to the laundry room. Experienced cruisers know. Never book a guarantee cabin unless you're okay with the worst-case scenario. Number 2. Cabins on Deck 1. Deck 1 cabins are almost always a mistake. They're the cheapest for a reason. First, many Deck 1 cabins have portholes instead of full windows, and those portholes are often at or below the waterline, meaning all you see is ocean splashing against the glass. Second, Deck 1 is where you'll feel the most ship motion. If you're prone to seasickness, being that low amplifies every wave and movement. And Deck 1 is often near crew areas, storage, and mechanical spaces, so noise is constant. On almost every cruise line, Deck 1 is where they house the cabins they couldn't sell. There's a reason. Number 1. Cabins above or below the nightclub. And here's the big one. Any cabin above or below the ship's nightclub, disco, or late-night entertainment venue. These venues operate till 2, 3, sometimes 4 a.m. every single night. We're talking about thumping bass, vibrations through your floor or ceiling, and the constant rhythm of music that makes sleep impossible. On Carnival ships, cabins on Deck 4 or 5 near the Alchemy Bar or Red Frog Pub are notorious. On Royal Caribbean, avoid cabins near the Boleros Lounge. Cruise veterans call these the party decks, and if you're not partying, you're suffering. This is the #1 complaint on cruise review sites, and yet people keep booking these cabins because they don't know. Now you know. So there you have it, the 10 cruise ship cabins you should absolutely avoid. From lifeboats blocking your view to nightclubs ruining your sleep, these cabin types can turn your dream vacation into a nightmare. Here's my advice. Always research the specific deck plan of your ship before booking, read reviews, check cruise forums, and never ever book a guarantee cabin unless you're okay with the gamble. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below telling me which cabin mistake you've made or almost made. And if you want more cruise secrets, tips, and money-saving hacks, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Safe travels, and I'll see you on the next one.